All right, hey everybody, we're here in downtown Jacksonville at Farah and Farah. And last night, All Elite Wrestling Fight for the Fallen here in Jacksonville at Daly's Place Amphitheater. And Farah were the presenting sponsors for the event, which is a great cause. It went to the victims of gun violence in this area. And these guys are just very supportive of the Jacksonville community. And it's Eddie and Chuck Farah of Farah and Farah. And Eddie, why don't you first tell us about Farah and Farah?
Thanks, Jim. Excuse my voice. It was we had a big night at AEW last night, and a lot of yelling and screaming, and things got kind of out of control for a while. But that's okay. I appreciate you being here and ask us about our involvement with AEW. But first of all, Farah and Farah is a personal injury firm that has offices from Savannah down to Fort Myers, Florida. We're in Tampa and Orlando, Daytona, Gainesville, and South Georgia. But last night was our sponsorship. We were involved with the AEW, and it represents something that, well, really, last night represented everything we love. It was here in Jacksonville. We love our city, where we're based out of. We love wrestling. I was born, since I was a kid, probably 5 years old. I can remember watching Gordon Soley on Saturday afternoons, and with his sign-off so long from the Sunshine State. And I never missed that show. And we had wrestling matches here in Jacksonville for many years at the old Coliseum, and we rarely missed a match there. So last night was a culmination of all that, and it was just nice getting back in close to the ring again.
It's interesting what AEW is doing. And Chuck, talk a little bit about how you guys got involved with this event.
Well, we got involved with AEW through the Khan family. Farah and Farah we're Jaguar sponsors. And so we had a relationship there through the Jaguars. And when they decided to bring AEW here to Jacksonville, they reached out to us and asked if we would be interested in being sponsors for the event. And they were tying into this great charity that's currently here in Jacksonville regarding gun violence. And once they asked us to be in, we knew it was immediate that we decided to be sponsors, because the purpose and the philosophy that the Khans bring with AEW and their involvement in the community, we had no hesitation to be involved.
Yeah, we want to be a part of it. It represents everything we love. I mean, it's wrestling. We love wrestling. We want to make our city a better place, and that money's going to help do that. So it kind of represents everything we believe in. And being a wrestling fan, how can you say no to something like that? So we were all over it, and we're proud. We were proud. It was a blast. I mean, forget the donation. That money's going to help a lot, but we just had a great time at the event. I think everybody there had a great time.
They did.
I mean, the crowd was raucous. It was loud. Everybody was involved. So it was just a great venue and a great evening.
It was interesting to know, to find out that Tony Khan is a really big wrestling fan, and it's something that he's grown up with, and he's a true avid fan as we are. So it really all came together on a 10-minute meeting over at TIAA Bank Field, and we joined forces, and we're glad we did.
That's interesting. It's like, all right, hey, we want to talk about something, come on. And it's like, here you get the pitch. And it's not one of these half-hour, 2-hour things, or well, let's get back to you tomorrow, let's check next week, let's see what's going on. It was like 10 minutes, hey, we're in.
We're in. Yeah, I think maybe we even approached them. I don't know if they approached us. So we heard they were bringing AEW to town. I think we reached out.
Yeah, I think
contacted the Jaguars, and we said, hey, we want a piece of this, because we didn't know anything about the donation. We kind of got into that, and that's a very important component of it. But
you guys wanted in. You wanted to be a part of it. Hey, we want to sponsor something. We want to do something with you all.
I mean, the charity is a really big deal, because we grew up in Jacksonville, and Jacksonville has really grown in size. I mean, when we were growing up, we would, our parents would allow us. We'd catch the bus. We lived on the north side. We'd catch the bus in the summers and come downtown, and we'd show up for dinner, at sunset, and the parents had no concern about our safety. But, Jacksonville's changed, it's grown, and now, we're dealing with this gun violence on the streets in the same exact neighborhoods that we grew up in. And it's you know, it's just not right. You know, this city deserves more. This community deserves more.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what too, yeah, and it's obviously, and it's not just Jacksonville, it's all right down in South Florida with
Sure.
Stoneman Douglas, Marjorie Stoneman Douglas in
Absolutely.
Parkland, the shootings there, and just a lot of other shootings that we don't maybe hear about.
Yeah, like Joe, you brought up a good point. I mean, it's everywhere. I mean, you turn on the evening news, the first thing they talk about is how many people got shot today. It's almost like when I was a kid in high school, coming home, listening to Walter Cronkite talk about how many people were killed in Vietnam, how many, you're keeping the body count, keeping track of the body count. So that's what's going on now. I mean, I'm sure, in Jacksonville, there's a body count. You watch the news, and they keep track of how many people have been shot, how many people have been killed since the beginning of the year. And we hope this money, Chuck's going to be on the committee to help determine where that money goes. And everybody talks about it, and yes, we want to help the victims, but to me, we want to find out what's causing it. I mean, what's the root cause of this? I don't think any kid who is 6, 8, 9, 10 years old says, when I grow up, I want to be in a gang, or I want to get a gun, I want to go shoot somebody. I think what we got to find out is what's motivating that. What can we do to stop that motivation? I think you have to go back to the communities where this is happening and see what we can do to help those kids. Maybe they're not getting the right guidance at home. Maybe it's up to us to bring guidance and supervision to the people in those communities. And I know a lot of people will say, well, what are we supposed to do? I mean, they have parents, and that's their parents' responsibility, but right now it's everybody's responsibility.
Sure
We're
is.
all part of this community. A child that doesn't have a parent, it's not the child's fault. When I see something like that happen, a kid that goes out and does something like that, I'm saying to myself, it's not his fault. He did not get the guidance, he did not get the love or the hope that everybody else gets. And so maybe as a community, we can reach into these areas of town and give them that hope and give them that guidance, and it can be done.
Maybe we have more role models or mentors out there.
Mentorship programs are really good, and activities, just having different types of activities all over is good as well.
Our firm some time ago, we created a mentor program here at Farah. And I know that each of us, Eddie had a mentee, I did, and we've had a couple of our investigators had mentees. And it really paid off. I mean, these kids who were really just about to fall off the rails, okay? And we helped them get back on. All of them got degrees. All of them became contributing citizens to the community.
Yeah.
And it's a success story. So hopefully our position on the board will help direct some of that money to what Eddie was saying, to where we can find maybe the root cause and then solve it from that point forward.
It's about putting the money in the right place.
In the right places. I mean, everybody wants. We need more police officers. I mean, you can have a police officer on every corner, and you can't stop somebody with a gun and wants to go shoot somebody. So I think the money should be put in, and the city, everybody needs to put their resources into going to these neighborhoods and finding out what is going wrong, what's happening, and fix it at that level. And I think that's the only way to get it under.
And I think each community handling it too is important. It just can't be a national, where national takes over or politics takes over at a national level. But it has to be each area.
It's a frontline issue. You have to have
really
boots
has
on
to
the
be.
ground.
Yeah,
so
you
to
really
speak.
have to do that. And I know, hey, last night you guys kicked in about $25,000 as presenting sponsor,
Yes, we did.
and overall the show, all proceeds from the show went to the cause.
Correct.
Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes, also, I don't have everybody, but also put in some of their own money as well. I want to say $10,000, $5,000. Overall it was $150,000, which is a good chunk of money to help out with the show. But I'm going to now take it to this level. What did you think of the show?
Oh man, we loved it. That was great. I got to talk to the Rhodes brothers. I grew up watching their father, and I told them that. I was always been a big fan of their father, and really used to watch some of his speeches. I mean, they were inspirational to me growing up. The son of a plumber and everything he accomplished, and the American Dream and all that. I mean, it meant so much to me growing up as a kid, and so it was just great seeing the kids out there carrying on the tradition and keeping the legend alive. And
I was impressed with the athletic ability of these guys. I mean, they really turned it on last night, and they're in shape. You can tell they take their profession seriously. They're strong, they're agile, and listen, it's a tough sport, really. I mean, they're getting pounded out there, but they're all you can tell that they're taking care of themselves, and they're really professionals. I was impressed with that.
Yeah, one of the I was sitting ringside, one of the young bucks were on the ground. I kicked him, and it was like hitting a cement wall. I was in shape. Hurt my foot.
So if you need an attorney, you can go to your brother then, right? Just in case. Yeah, exactly. You remember that.
I sprained my ankle.
Well, if the Bucks need an attorney, would that work? He couldn't go to you because that's your brother. He'd have to go somewhere else.
We'll figure it out.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Okay.
So, and you mentioned Dusty. That's so cool. You mentioned Dusty. What was their reaction? Because obviously they both love their father very much, and it's just incredible to see what they're doing. What was their reaction when you said, "Hey, your dad"?
You really appreciate it. I think he really appreciated me bringing that up, and it's really good to know that. I mean, you're a lot of young people there at that show at the match last night. I kind of felt I was the oldest guy there, but what I was impressed with is during the breaks we were talking to people who were sitting around us. Even these young guys, young kids, they really know a lot of the old wrestlers. They know about Dusty Rhodes. They know about Jake the Snake. They know about all these guys that I grew up with, and it's good to know that that they love that stuff. I mean, they're really into it, and so I was really impressed with their knowledge of the sport. So.
You all are involved with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Jacksonville Jaguars owned by the Khan family, who also own AEW. So what was it like getting involved with the Jacksonville Jaguars? And I love the conference room here because we got some Jacksonville Jaguars. And is that Jackson DeVille?
Jackson DeVille. Yes.
Thank you. Jackson DeVille. Usually a regular at the mascot games in Orlando, which I've covered before, which is really cool. And I love the mascots. Mascots are so much fun. But anyway, just what was your involvement, getting involved with Jacksonville Jaguars?
It started several years ago with actually Wayne Weaver, the prior owner. And Eddie and I thought that we had an opportunity to become a sponsor there when Wayne was there. Actually, we wanted to try to see if we could put our name on the stadium.
That big.
Yeah.
Farah Stadium.
If you remember, Jimmy Buffett had it for a year.
I don't remember that, but
he had it in Dolphin Stadium.
Yes, he
for
did.
A year. It was
Margaritaville.
No, it was the Land Shark beer.
The beer, yeah, Land Shark.
And so we were then, shortly after, 2-3 minutes into the meeting, we realized that probably wasn't the right thing to do with the way our firm is, and it's more of a national advertising thing. But Wayne Weaver kind of convinced us or sold us on becoming a suite member. And then when Shad Khan took over the team, he approached us about being a sponsor. And it's really been a great relationship.
It's been, how many, 8 years, I think?
8 years since he's been here.
We've been a sponsor of the Jags, and it's been a great partnership. We're proud to be a partner with the Jaguars.
They run a great organization, and when you're partners with someone, or when you're sponsoring an organization, you want to make sure that it's being run the right way, and they are. I mean, it's a great
and they're doing so much
franchise.
for the community.
Oh, they're big
They give
community.
back. I mean, they're not takers; they're givers. And
Absolutely.
They give a lot, and we're proud to be a partner with them. Yeah.
Well, you guys have watched wrestling growing up. You mentioned about being from Jacksonville. And what is it like when you see AEW, you're involved with the Jaguars? After the show, are you like talking with Tony Khan or anyone there and saying, hey, when's your next show? We want to get involved again. What more can we do? Or is that a conversation happens later on?
We're hoping to become involved more. We loved it. I mean, I really didn't have a chance to talk to anybody in the Khan family yesterday. I could hardly talk after the show. I didn't have a voice really, and
that's not good for someone in the law business, though, right? That's why you have your brother.
Chuck's here today to help me out, doing the talking for me.
Yeah.
But we're hoping to continue the relationship. We have some ideas, and they've got some ideas, and we're going to keep it going.
Because they're going to be on TV on TNT.
Yeah,
That's
TNT.
been announced, and so that's going to probably start around October. And I'm just curious, is that something that might be entertained too, to do some advertising or sponsor? I know it's a lot more money-wise when it's on a TNT, something big like that, but is that even something that might be in the realm?
Sure.
Yeah, we're looking at it, and hopefully, I mean, we couldn't do a national type situation because we're not a national business, but we are in the South and Southeast, so hopefully we can be a partner of some fashion with that program. And hopefully they're going to bring another match back here to town,
Yeah.
for sure.
That's the thing. They want to come back. I know Cody at the press conference said he obviously wants to come back here. He loved it. But because it was so hot, he's hoping they do a December show rather than a
Right.
July show. But we'll see what happens. And that when TV starts, they're going to be traveling all over. So it's not like they're going to be in one area for a lengthy bit of time. They'll be just traveling from city to city. So Jacksonville will be part of the loop. At least that's what they were indicating last night. It's just when they're going to do it. And when Tony Khan came to the post-show press conference, we were asking a little bit about that as well and all. And he said, well, we'll have to see. Nothing's set right now. And we were like, well, Cody would rather, if you do it, to have it in December. He said, yeah, it's probably a little better with the heat and all. So, but we'll see. I'll tell you what, even though it was hot last night, everybody stayed for the most part.
Yes.
Everybody had a
yeah.
good time, and that was the main thing. And you just do the best. I felt not bad, but I just felt a little more for the wrestlers because they had those lights on them and they're in the ring. And even though they're in tights or they're in some type of ring gear or something, it must have been really hot for them.
it was
But
hot.
they got by it. That's part of the business, and they get by it. I want to talk a little bit about Jacksonville wrestling, though, too. And where was Jacksonville wrestling? What night was it on back in the day with Championship Wrestling from Florida? And what was it like?
It was Thursday nights. It was Thursday nights, NWA,
At the old Coliseum.
at the old Jacksonville Coliseum, and we would go. I mean, listen, it was. I can't say because I was young. I didn't go every Thursday, but I was. When I was allowed to go, it was a big deal. And yeah, I mean, Jacksonville to me is a huge wrestling town.
Yeah, we were at. I remember I was just telling Joe before the interview that we were at a match with my cousin, and he jumped in the ring and started beating up the great Malenko. He got arrested. We had to go bail him out of jail. So I mean, that's how we were intense.
But you know what? That's what wrestling was
That's
like
what
back in the
wrestling was
day.
back. Yeah.
People would bring knives to the matches. It was crazy. You didn't have security scanners like you do now. They would throw rocks at the cars. The heels stayed with the heels. The faces stayed with the faces.
Yeah.
Baby, with the good guys, bad guys, you couldn't see them together. They wouldn't eat together. It was that real back then, and fans really got into it, and they believed it. So it was very scary for the bad guys of the heel wrestlers back in the day.
Yeah,
But that's just interesting with Jacksonville territory and just the history of it
I mean,
here.
Haystacks Calhoun, he weighed like 405. I mean, you don't find those wrestlers now. I mean, Haystacks Calhoun, will there ever be another Andre the Giant? Come on,
Yeah, the characters
How
back
can-
with the
Haystacks-
Funk Brothers,
yeah,
the-
Haystacks Calhoun, I mean, this guy was, 400, 500 pounds. I mean,
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was.
the-
I mean, but the rivalries
Yeah,
back then,
oh, yeah.
the Funks versus the Brisco
Yeah.
Brothers. Remember that was a big feud, and you.
but we need to, that was the golden age of wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, they had
We're gonna
great
bring
characters.
We're going to, hopefully the AEW is going to bring back, create another golden age of wrestling. That's what we're hoping for.
AEW has interesting because they have some old school with
Yeah.
new school
I like
Yes.
that.
combined. And one of the things I thought was interesting too was that last match when Cody and Dustin start working on one of the Young Bucks' arms. And that was old school style. Tag in, work on the arm. Tag out,
Remember
tag
that?
in,
Yeah,
work on the arm.
section.
Work on one.
Yeah, I saw that.
Everybody, and that was part. It wasn't the whole match. That was part of the match and all. And to do that, I was thinking, oh wow. For me, back in the day, I was thinking Minnesota Wrecking Crew, Ole and Gene Anderson,
Yeah.
or a little late up, a little more recent, still back in the day, Tully Blanchard and
Tully
Arn
Blanchard,
Anderson as a
Tully,
tag
yeah,
team,
yes.
doing that, working on
Tully
a body
Blanchard and
part.
Dusty Rhodes.
Oh,
and
they
that-
had big
Yeah.
feuds with
Well,
those two.
feuds.
No, they were really
You're bringing
some
up
good
some really great wrestlers, the Anderson brothers. Yeah.
Championship Wrestling from Florida. Now my way, Wednesday night at the Miami Beach Convention Center was a big deal. And that was it every night of the week. It was in usually the same city every week
Sure.
during the week on a certain day. And sometimes twice on Sundays. It was really a different schedule, and it was just an interesting time. And Florida was so big in pro wrestling. That's why it's interesting to see that now Florida has a lot of big wrestling in Florida nowadays, and including AEW making its base right here in Jacksonville.
Right. Yeah, we're excited about it.
What are your final thoughts on AEW, what's going on in Jacksonville, and then give us a little something on Farah and Farah and the law business.
Well, I mean, we've been in the handling personal injury cases since 1979, and we hope to be. Let me check once you finish it up. I mean,
Well, yeah.
You're tagging it. Your brother's tagging in.
I can tell you, we started, this firm it started from Eddie, and now it's 60 lawyers, okay? And it's personal injury, trial teams, any aspect of personal injury we'll handle, from defective products to rear-end collisions to work on the job injuries. We handle any type of injury claim, and we've been doing it now for coming on 40 years, you know, and we're proud of the work we do. And we are, you know, we're here based in Jacksonville, but we're really all over. We're all over the state of Florida, all over the state of Georgia, and into other states through co-counsel.
I'm just glad that you guys, I mean, it's important, obviously, to get business and to stay in business, but I was glad no one had to seek your services last night.
Right.
In the ring or out of the ring.
Well, I had a contract ready to go in case somebody...
Oh, let me tell you something. Eddie and Chuck, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. Appreciate it so much. Keep involved with AEW. Keep enjoyment. Keep supporting the community. Again, Fight for the Fallen. Great cause. It was for victims of gun violence right here in Jacksonville and Duval County. Am I saying that right? In Duval County as well. And I'm gonna, you know what, I'm gonna end this with as well. Last night I was very interested because you had the baseball stadium right across from Daly's Place, which is right next to the football field where the Jacksonville Jaguars play. So you had that going on. Then across the way was a Miami Marlins AA, the Jumbo Shrimp. I love the minor league names. The Jumbo Shrimp playing ball there. And it was just really interesting. But I'll tell you what, right between the two, I noticed the memorial and the eternal flame, and where the county and the city was supporting all the veterans and all services of all wars that have lost their lives. And I got a little video and some photos of that, and I thought that was really a nice gesture to put that as well there.
I like that little sports complex we have there.
Really nice. Yeah, it's really nice.
Right by the river.
Yeah, it just...
I mean, it's accessible easily from anywhere in town.
It was very easy to find. Very easy to find.
You got the football field, you got the arena, you got the baseball park.
All in the same area, but I just like the fact that it was easy. I will say this though, I didn't see a lot of signage. That was different from South Florida to up here. I saw one sign about sports complex, but I would have rathered more signage with the name of the exact field, like TIAA Bank Field. And maybe during football season they do that. I don't know, but I would have liked to have seen more signage. People that live here know where everything is, but when you get the out-of-towners like myself and others, it's like, okay, I guess I could go to technology and do that, or GPS and all that stuff and find it. But I still old school. Would have liked to have seen a little more signage show the area. That was my only takeaway. Like, oh, that was the only thing I would change. But everything else was really cool.
Think about that Daly's Arena, that venue.
That place is really nice.
Like
I really like that. And it's covered. It's out. It's open, but it's also covered.
Yeah, and then our practice field.
That is behind it. Is the
I didn't see the practice field.
That's where the
indoor practice field's right behind it.
So you can open up. The idea is, say you had a draft here.
Yeah.
You could open up that all the way through the practice field.
I'll tell you what else I liked last night. When I was walking in the concourse of Daly's Place, you could go right to the football field.
Oh, yeah.
And it was open. There were water in the field, but on the big giant scoreboard they had AEW Fight for the Fallen. It really made a nice, cool picture, and people were going over there taking pictures, and it looked cool at night, and it also looked cool in the day as well. So that was nice, and that's how I know the Khan family are doing things right, because they didn't have to open that up.
No, but that's cool to be able to walk into the stadium when it's empty. Many people don't.
You don't get a chance.
You take it for granted. Many people don't have a chance to go into the stadium. You know, I mean, but that was really nice of them to open that up.
All right, so brothers, thank you last night. Good theme last night, because you had brothers, the Rhodes brothers, going against the Young Bucks brothers, and then the presenting sponsors were the Farah brothers.
That's right.
So thank you both so much.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jeff.